Pussy Simkin goes to school. Pussy Simkin got up very early one morning. He tiptoed up the stairs to find out if anyone else was awake, and when he saw Janet's door a little bit open, he popped his head round the corner to see. Janet was sitting up in bed, dressing her doll. "Hello, Pussy Simkin," she said, when she saw his orange and white fur. "Come in and talk to me." Pussy Simkin jumped up on Janet's bed and watched her putting her doll's shoes on. "Do you know, Pussy Simkin, I'm going to school today." Pussy Simkin purred. "Don't you wish you were coming too?" asked Janet. Pussy Simkin purred again. Yes, he thought, he would rather like to go to school and see what Janet and the other children did there. So when Janet set off down the road, Pussy Simkin quietly crept along behind, and when Janet arrived at school, wasn't she surprised to find Pussy Simkin there as well? "Pussy Simkin," she said, "you naughty puss, you'll have to stay here now until it's time to go home, and I don't think my teacher will be very pleased, so you'd better be a good Pussy Simkin and not let anyone see you, and say quietly in his ear," she said quietly in his ear, "I've got to go into my class now, but I'll be back when I can. You be a good puss and wait for me." And off went Janet to her class. Pussy Simkin walked around the room. There wasn't anything very interesting here, he thought. He went through a door into a bright empty room. He saw some steps and went up them. When he got to the top and looked down the other side, he was very surprised to find not some more steps going down, but a long shiny thing stretching all the way to the ground. He carefully pushed his front paws on the long shiny thing, and whoosh, he slid all the way down to the bottom. When Pussy Simkin had picked himself up, he began to smile. It was such a surprise going whoosh down like that, but it was rather nice. Pussy Simkin went up the steps again and slid down the slide. This really was fun, thought Pussy Simkin, and he had a lovely time going on the slide many, many times. Then he heard some voices coming near, so Pussy Simkin quietly ran out that room into another. No children in here, he thought, and they must have gone to play with the slide. He walked towards some small tables and jumped up to see what was there. He saw large pieces of paper and little jars with different colors inside. Pussy Simkin thought it must be funny colored milk and dipped his paws into a red one. "Ugh," he said, "that's not milk. Let's try the next." Pussy Simkin put the paw which had been in the red paint pot down onto the paper and dipped the other paw into the blue pot. "Ugh," he said, "that's not milk too. Let's try the next." Once again, Pussy Simkin put his fat furry paw onto the paper, and this time he made a blue painty paw mark. So along the tables he went, dipping his paws into all the different colored paint pots and putting them on the children's drawing paper. Behind Pussy Simkin was a long line of different colored paw marks. He was so busy doing this that it was too late for him to run into another room when the children came back. Pussy Simkin just had time to jump down from the tables and rush along the floor and curl up very small behind the curtain. "Now, children," he heard the teacher say, "you can do some more painting and finish all the lovely pictures." The children's chairs made a scraping sound as they pulled them out to sit down. It was quiet for a moment while they got settled, and then one by one they all began to cry. "Elizabeth, Jennifer, Penelope, Mary Ann," said the teacher, "whatever's the matter? Paul, Anthony, Martin, Christopher, why are you all crying?" Then the teacher saw the pictures, all smudged and covered with red, blue, green, and yellow marks. "Why, whoever has done that?" No one answered until Christopher, who had most different colored marks on his pictures and whose chair was nearest to where Pussy Simkin was curled up behind the curtain, called out, "Please, I can see some more marks on the floor." The teacher bent low to look and said in a very surprised voice, "That's the most peculiar. They seem to be the marks of a cat's paw." She followed them across the floor, nearer and nearer to the curtain, and before Pussy Simkin could do anything at all, there was the teacher, the curtain in her hand, staring at Pussy Simkin's different colored paws. Then the teacher began to laugh and laugh. She picked him up and showed the children, Pussy Simkin, and they laughed too. It was not very often that anyone had seen a cat which was orange and white with different coloured feet. Pussy Simkin was very pleased that no one was cross, and he did his best to be nice to the teacher and to the children, so that they would know he was sorry about the pictures and he had spoiled. The teacher asked if anyone in the class knew whose pussycat he was, but no one did. Pussy Simkin thought all the children looked very much bigger than his Janet. And he was carried into another room full of small children and held up for everyone to look at. He was very glad indeed to see his Janet there. Janet came and told the teacher all about how Pussy Simkin followed him to her school. No one was very cross with Janet or Pussy Simkin when they got home, but no one was very pleased when they tried to get the red and blue and green and yellow paint off his paws. Pussy Simkin felt very tired and sorry for himself as he sat in the garden. His friend Siamese Ching from next door appeared over the fence. "Want to come chasing pigeons?" he asked. "No, thank you. I'm too tired," said Pussy Simkin. Siamese Ching looked at Pussy Simkin's paws. "I can see you've been busy. Been into something naughty?" "Sort of." "Silly dear Pussy Simkin," smiled Siamese smile. "You're such a fine, fat, furry cat, but you do such silly things, don't you?" Siamese Ching wound his long, thin tail around him. "It's a good thing you've got a town cat like me to look after you, isn't it?" Has anybody seen a ginger cat, 10 feet tall, wearing a hat, with a plate for a brim and a cup for a crown, walking on his front paws upside down? Has anybody seen him? I wonder. I do. If anybody has, I'd like to see him too, wouldn't you? Pussy Simkin's collar. Pussy Simkin has got a collar. His friend Siamese Ching, who was a town cat, always wore a collar with his name and address on it, and fat furry Pussy Simkin laughed at it and said it was like a dog's. Siamese Ching Lucy had told Pussy Simkin's Janet about the collar and said what a good idea it was in case Siamese Ching got lost in the big town. Janet told her mother about it, and her mother had gone out shopping. When she returned, she took a thin white collar out of her basket and showed it to Pussy Simkin. "Let me fasten it on for you, Pussy Simkin," she said. "It won't hurt you. It's very smart and clean, like your lovely fur coat." Pussy Simkin didn't want a collar. He scratched and rubbed and twisted around his neck, and it stayed. He tried to get Janet to take it off. He purred by her chair and pushed his neck up against her leg. "No, Pussy Simkin," Janet said. "I'm not taking your collar off. It's got your name written on it, and it's where you live, and I think it looks very pretty." Pussy Simkin went to Janet's mother and purred by her chair and jumped on her lap. "No, Pussy Simkin, it's not a good. I'm not taking your collar off either." She pushed Pussy Simkin gently down onto the floor. Pussy Simkin decided to go for a walk. He went out of the window, over the high garden fence, and into the street. He walked past the houses and into the high street. He stopped and looked at himself in a shop window. "Silly, stupid collar," he thought, and walked on. Soon he felt a little lonely amongst all the busy shopping, people's legs and prams' wheels. He saw a little girl standing holding her mother's hand, and he went over to them and purred against their legs. Little girl bent down and stroked his fur. "Isn't he a lovely cat, Mummy?" she said. "Yes, dear," said her mother, "but leave the pussy here. Here comes our bus. Come along. Let's get a front seat." Pussy Simkin watched the little girl and her mother climb up a big step, but heard somebody say, "Hold tight, please." And he heard a bell go ting. And just before the red bus moved away from the pavement, Pussy Simkin jumped on too. There was a man walking inside the bus, taking money from the people and giving them bits of paper for a little machine that went ping. Pussy Simkin saw some stairs and he began to walk up them, wobbling as the bus turned a corner. He saw rows and rows of seats. He walked to the very front, jumped up on an empty seat, and stared out of the window. He could see the road a long way below, and the cars driving along. The bus stopped and started. It turned to the right and to the left. It stopped at the red traffic lights and moved off again when the lights changed to green. All the time, Pussy Simkin sat on the front seat of the top of the bus, and no one noticed him. Much more comfortable than riding in a basket in a car, thought Pussy Simkin. Plenty of room to curl up for a sleep. He went round in circles once or twice just to find the softest part of the seat and closed his eyes. When he awoke, it was dark. The bus was quiet, quite still. Pussy Simkin wondered where all the people were, and he jumped off the front seat and walked on to the stairs. It was much easier going down the stairs when the bus was still, and soon he had discovered that he was in a big bus garage, and he was all by himself. Help, meowed Pussy Simkin. Where am I? Where's my home and my Janet? Pussy Simkin meowed around the garage, but saw no one. He found a half-open window and he squeezed out onto the street. All the shops were closed and the street lights were on. Pussy Simkin looked for a fish shop because he knew his way home from there, but he couldn't find it. He tried to find the park gates, but they weren't there. Oh dear, how I wish I had Siamese Ching with me. He would know what to do. He's a town cat. Pussy Simkin sat down on the pavement and meowed very miserably to himself. Hello, what's this I see here? Said a voice. Pussy Simkin saw a big black boots and dark blue trouser leg. He rubbed his neck against it. So you're lost, are you, fat furry pussy? Said the man, and picked up Pussy Simkin. Well, you'd better come along with me to the police station, and I'll see if anyone has been asking about you. The policeman tucked Pussy Simkin under his arm and took him in the night to the police station. There Pussy Simkin stood on the counter and was shown the other policemen. Nice cat that, said one of them. You'd think he'd have a collar or something, wouldn't you? You know, I never even looked, said the policeman, who had found Pussy Simkin. He felt the furry neck. There's something there. Yes, it's a collar. A policeman moved Pussy Simkin's fur to one side and read out the address written on the collar. You've had a long journey, Puss. However did you get so far away from home? He said. The other policeman brought over a saucer of milk and then went to the telephone. Pussy Simkin drank the milk quickly. He was feeling much better now. The policeman put the telephone down and spoke to Pussy Simkin. They're coming to collect you as soon as they can. My goodness, they were pleased to hear where you were. Pussy Simkin felt rather naughty. He heard this. He had known Janet would wonder where he was. He wouldn't go to bed until he was tucked up in his basket. Soon the police station door was pushed open and Janet and her father came in. Pussy Simkin, oh Pussy Simkin, cried Janet, hugging him tight. Wherever have you been, you naughty pussy? Pussy Simkin tried to tell her all about the bus as he purred in her ear. He didn't quite know if she understood, but it didn't matter anymore. Janet's father picked up Pussy Simkin and put him inside his special basket, and Pussy Simkin heard him say thank you to the policeman for finding him. That's all right, said the policeman. Glad I was able to help. It's a good thing that he had a collar on, otherwise we wouldn't have known who he was. Pussy Simkin rubbed his neck with his paw. He touched the collar and said thoughtfully to himself, maybe it's quite a good idea after all. Mrs. Pussy Paddypaw, slipping through the kitchen door, makes no sound as soft she goes on her velvet-slipped toes. Mrs. Pussy, smooth as silk, dips her head on to lap her milk. She'll take her time before she'll say where she's been since yesterday. Mrs. Pussy cleans the fish from her own enamel dish, then wipes her dainty whiskers clean and says, I've been to see the Queen. Meow.